Peace and blessings, and welcome to another helpful garden video from Green Life. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to select transplants. So we're going to be discussing how to select transplant. So in Texas right now, it's fall. So a lot of people are going out looking for transplants to put in their garden. A lot of people ask me what to plant, how to plant, and what to get. One of the things that you want to make sure that you do when you select your transplants for your garden is you want to make sure you're selecting something that's in season. It's very important to make sure that your transplants are in season. The garden stores will sell you something because they're in the business of making money. But you want to do some research to make sure you're purchasing transplants that's in season. That's one of the biggest things that I see that my customers, or mistakes that my customers. For example, I have a customer who was sold butternut squash. Here in Texas, it's fall. So if you put down, and it's actually mid-fall, so if you put down butternut squash, the frost is going to hit it and kill it. But they're selling it in the store. So you have to make sure what you get from the store is in season. Another thing you want to look for when you go to the garden store is you want to make sure your transplants are in a good state. You want to make sure that they are healthy. One thing you want to make sure is that the leaves are green and nice and healthy. You shouldn't see transplants that are browning or the leaves are crinkled up or signs of disease or anything like that. That is a very bad sign. And if you get that transplant, then what can happen is you're going to start off, and it may grow, but you're not going to get the production that you want, and set you up for failure down the road. So another important thing you want to look for is to make sure your transplants are not overgrown. Sometime at the garden store, they have transplants there that's been there for a while, and they're overgrown, meaning they're too tall or too big for the pot that they're in. And when that happens, typically they start producing flowers, and that's a sign that it's going to go into the fruiting phase and start producing vegetables or fruit or whatever plant it is. The problem with that is once you put it in the ground, the plant has not reached the size that it should have reached in order for it to be producing. So you end up with a plant that's a lot smaller than this, which this is zucchini. It'll be a lot smaller trying to produce zucchini, and it won't produce well. You won't have the size of zucchini that you're looking for or the amount of zucchini that the plant could possibly produce. So another thing that I see is some of my customers will get transplants that has a lot of leaves missing. For whatever reason this fall, I've had quite a few customers who had bell pepper transplants, and the transplant will be about 6 inches tall with 2 or 3 leaves on it. And you can tell that it's a little overgrown, but the biggest thing is it's a lot of leaves missing from this transplant. That's not a good sign, and that's not something that you want to start off with. What you want to start off with is a transplant that is nice, that's healthy, that is something that you would like to see in your garden at that stage. What I have here is 2 transplants that I got from one of my customers. When I got them, they were real unhealthy, real small, and so I decided that I would try to nurse them back to health. And as you can see, what I did was I put them in some containers, some potting containers that were a little larger than what they originally was in, and I put in some compost with some worm casting, and within about 2 weeks these transplants have grown tremendously, and the new leaves on them look real nice and healthy. So the next step from here is to transplant these into the ground. I hope this video helped you with the selection of vegetable transplants for your garden. Remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And while you're at it, please hit the like and subscribe button. It'll help us out. And remember, success starts with successful thoughts. Peace.